much for joining us, of course, here in a very, very warm Cannes. I really appreciate it. We've managed to find some shade. We've got a bit of a breeze, so hopefully we'll be all right. But I really appreciate you joining us on our Cannes Captures series.
No worries, nice
First up, it would be great to, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a bit about Vudoo.
Okay, I shall try in this heat. So I'm Sarah Lawson Johnston, Managing Director for EMEA, for Vudoo. Been there about 7 months, something like that.
Yep.
Been in ad tech for way too long, decades. And so Vudoo's founded out of Australia. It's all about making ads and content shoppable. So think of brands and retailers trying to engage with their consumers. They're trying to go to the next level of really engaging consumers with good experiences, really relevant stuff, and that's what we're all about. So we take any creative, kind of mobile, desktop, digital at home, CTV, whatever, and make it shoppable. So the idea is that a consumer sees an ad in a piece of content that they're reading or viewing, and they can discover the product, they can engage with it, and ultimately they can buy it in that ad unit without going off to another site.
Okay.
So the idea is to make it a really seamless experience for the consumer.
I see. Okay. Do you have an example?
Yeah, loads.
Yes.
So we've just done, as I said, we're founded in Australia, so all our good use cases are there. We're still relatively new here. We've just done a campaign with Mattel.
Okay.
And that one was a CTV campaign.
Right.
So QR code, nothing new there. But actually we did some research recently, and about 86% of people second screen when they're watching CTV. Are you one of them? I've definitely got my mobile, and I get told off by the family all the time. But that is a real thing, so why not embrace it?
Right.
So the QR code is nothing new there, but what happens when you do it with Vudoo is different. So you scan the QR code when it pops up on the advert, and it takes you to the Vudoo experience on your mobile, so you can shop the exact product you've just seen. So it's a really curated experience without messing up everybody else's viewing. Consumers love it because they see the shoes they want or the Mattel product they want, buy it, crack on
straight away. Okay, well, that's amazing. Yeah,
so it's a very different experience.
Yes, I'm sure. And of course, your first Cannes with Vudoo, but not your first Cannes in general.
No, this is the hottest one, I think.
Is it really?
I think it really.
Okay,
well,
that makes me feel
it's
better.
day one, so we'll see. Or maybe I'm just older. I don't know. But
No. Well, I mean, of course, you've been to Cannes before. What do you think of Cannes, and maybe what are you expecting of Cannes this year? What's going to be the most talked about topic?
I think the old favourites will be there.
Yes.
But I think there'll be a different slant. So AI. Is always going to be talked about. But I think this year it's more about working with AI, not just in theory. It's about finding out what can it do for you that's useful. So everybody wants actionable insights. So can AI help get those kind of actual outcomes and results and conversions? So I think it's going to be much more action this time. I've always said in the past, you meet people in Cannes, you have really good conversations. Then other festivals like De Mexico in September come up, and that's where you actually meet people and kind of get those things moving and activated. I think the urgency seems to be here. I mean, I've had quite a lot of meetings today. Everybody's like, when can we get started? What can we try? All looking for new things for the consumer. Everyone's talking about the consumer as the focus. That shouldn't be a surprise to us all in this industry, but so focus on the consumer, but how do we actually give them what they want, which is seamless experiences, don't waste their time with unwanted stuff, give them what they want, but also, really importantly, give people the data they need to actually make it useful. So retailers and brands we talk to a lot, they get a ton of data, but how much is actionable? So we're all about making sure that the data we get when someone engages with our experience is all sent back so they can analyze it, so they can see how many people got as far as the cart, how many people abandoned it, how many people converted, how many people dwell time, all that good stuff. So it's making sure that data is great, but useful data is a different level. So AI is going to be talked about. Commerce media is massive, obviously, and is where our heart is.
Absolutely.
So retail media, commerce media merging. The lines are definitely blurring as retail media kind of explodes. So there's lots more conversations about that. So I think Wednesday's like Nectar 360. I've got a whole day of so that's really nice to see, because it was getting a little bit to ad tech vendor talking to ad tech vendor here, and now you're getting the retailers and the brands and all that.
I've seen a lot more of that.
So that will be really, really useful, because then you're actually finding out what they want and what their challenges are. And I think as retail media explodes, you get with that fragmentation. So every retailer's got a different platform, they have a different way of measuring, they have different KPIs, and ad tech vendors don't necessarily always help that. So we need to help standardization. And I think the IAB actually brought out something recently, IAB Europe, which is the first retail media sort of accreditation program that people can sign up to. And that's to give that level of transparency and accountability, really, so that people can start actually measuring it in a similar way. And I think Nectar 360 are going to be the first ones to sign up. I think there's 2 retailers and they're one of them. So that just shows the momentum that's having. So that's big. And what else is going to be big? CTV.
Yeah, of course.
CTV, as I was just saying, you know, embracing the fact that there is a second screen around when most people are watching. So what do you do with that? And can you actually curate what the consumer's getting to make it relevant?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, some great topics. I'm sure we'll be hearing lots of that. I'm glad you started with AI as well. It can't be a podcast about that.
Yeah, you can't not say it. But creativity as well is kind of, this is the festival of creativity, and we often forget that. Someone reminded me today that, you know, campaigns get the reach of the audiences, but creativity actually gets the engagement. So we've got to make sure the creativity is really emotionally bonding with the consumer.
No, you're right.
And I was just listening to a panel on the equity of yacht.
Nice.
And Paul Wright was there, as he is with every panel, talking from Uber, and he was saying, you know, the consumer's really got to want it. You can't just give them, you know, anything.
Good
so
point.
You've really got to think about it. So creativity.
Amazing.
So there's quite a few topics there. Sorry.
No, that sounds great.
So they'll all come up.
No, I'm sure they're all important topics. And I guess my next question though would be more about obviously Vudoo and I guess what are you guys are doing? I mean, is there one thing that's happening in your industry at the moment that's of a particular importance that you guys are addressing? Maybe you could share.
Yeah, I think measurement is always going to be key, and so. You know, with these wonderful experiences, it's all well and good, but you need to actually prove it. So everybody, and it's that merge between, you know, performance marketing, brand marketing, all that stuff. And you need to know how you're going to measure it, because CMOs still want to know exactly how many sales conversions. So how do you bridge that gap between content and commerce so that you're storytelling but also getting sales conversions? And that's what we're all about, is really helping people get, you know, go along that journey.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the big thing that we're trying to talk to you about.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's what we're talking about now. I guess like it'd be good, like lastly, to think about the future here. So I mean, say we think about 12 months time from now. I mean, what do you think will be talked about then? You know, where's the industry or the media going? I guess.
Well, we were just talking about the interviews are going to be happening around a pool.
Yes,
so
they will be next year. Absolutely.
And I think retail media will be less talked about. It'll be commerce media. I think that umbrella term will be. And I don't think it will be. At the moment, it still sits in the innovative bucket slightly. It needs to be more mainstream. So the planning and the budgeting of all the media agencies that we talk to, retail media shouldn't be this kind of nice to have on the side. It's got to be absolutely part of the main thing. So I think we should see a lot more retailers and brands here. CMOs of all the big brands should be here. Finding out what they can do that's innovative. Because there's a lot of noise and a lot of competition, but they need to really get going and act so they can kind of keep with the program. So I think retailers and brands will be here in force.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, look, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your time in Canada, okay? Let's hope it cools down.